Friends, today the church celebrates Mission Sunday, and the readings of today are extremely beautiful for us to reflect upon. Especially the Gospel reading from the Gospel according to Mark, chapter 10, verses 46 to 52, speak about the encounter of Jesus with the blind Bartimaeus. The scene is extremely beautiful. Jesus and the crowd and the disciples are journeying towards Jerusalem. 2 Sundays ago, when we began our synodal journey, we saw Jesus encountering the rich young man who could not follow him because he was weighed down by his wealth. Last Sunday, when we began the diocesan phase of the synod, we had the reading where James and John, the two apostles of Jesus, come to him asking for places of glory at his right hand and his left hand. And Jesus tells them that the one who wants to be first must be last, and the one who is the greatest should be the servant of all. Let us think of today's passage, and we have three characters, so to say. We look at Jesus and his response to blind Bartimaeus. We look at the crowd which is around Jesus going towards Jerusalem, and we look at blind Bartimaeus. Let us look at Jesus. Jesus always desires encounter. He wants to promote healing and the fullness of life. He notices that blind Bartimaeus requires his help. But there is the crowd around him, the second group of actors, who can be swayed either way. For them, the blind man is a hindrance. And therefore, when he shouts, "Jesus, Son of David, have mercy on me," they tell him to be quiet. But later, when Jesus tells them to call him to himself, then they tell the man, "Get up, he is calling you for healing apparently." So the crowd can be swayed in any direction. Let us look at the blind man, blind Bartimaeus. He is a so-called abandoned one, doubly abandoned, so to say. He is blind and he is a beggar, so he has no future to look forward to on the one hand. On the other hand, he also seems to be abandoned by God, because in Jesus' time, anybody who had a handicap was considered a sinner, or that his or her parents had sinned. As you see in the Gospel of John, chapter 9, verses 1 to 3, where there is a blind man also accused of being a sinner. In any case, blind Bartimaeus is a man of faith. So when he hears that Jesus is coming down the road, he shouts, "Jesus, Son of David, have mercy on me." And even after the crowd tells him to be quiet, he shouts even louder, "Son of David, have mercy on me." So you see the faith that he has. And then when Jesus calls him unto himself, you see the eagerness to be healed. The text says that he sprang up, threw off his coat, sprang up and goes to Jesus. And when Jesus asks him, "What do you want?" he says, "Rabboni, Master, let me see again." He desires to be healed. And then after Jesus heals him, he goes along the road to Jerusalem. He becomes a follower of Jesus. You see, friends, Jesus and his approach, wanting encounter, wanting people to be healed and to be made whole. And you see the crowd dilly-dallying on either side. And finally, blind Bartimaeus, who becomes a model of faith for you and for me. Reflecting on this passage, what can we learn? We can ask ourselves, where do I situate myself? In the crowd? Am I like blind Bartimaeus, a person of faith? Because blindness does not only indicate physical blindness, but can be spiritual blindness, or moral blindness, or social blindness, or whatever. Take up this passage for our reflection. Perhaps spend some time reading it, entering into various characters, the life of the characters who are involved, and then asking ourselves, where exactly do I stand? For our prayer, I would suggest three kind of sentences, 3 pleas which we could make. The first one, the prayer of Bartimaeus. Jesus, Son of David, have mercy on me. This could be repeated mantra like, Jesus, Son of David, have mercy on me. The second could again be a prayer of Bartimaeus. Master, let me see again. Bringing to Jesus all our blindness, many blind spots in our life, asking for His touch, asking for healing. The third prayer could be a prayer of thanksgiving, of gratitude for all that we have received. The psalm of today, Psalm 126, has a very beautiful response. What marvels the Lord has worked for us. Indeed, we are glad. We can think of the many good things we have received, the gifts, the graces, and thank God for all of them. Today being Mission Sunday, the Pope has given us a message, and the theme is this from the Acts of the Apostles, chapter 4, verse 20. We cannot but speak about what we have seen and heard. In other words, the Pope is telling us to go back to our experience of encountering Jesus and to speak and to proclaim Jesus from those beautiful experiences that we have had. The first reading from the book of Jeremiah also speaks of a coming home. We have the passage, chapter 31, verses 7 to 9, where the exiles are comforted and they are all returning home. Friends, we too are on a journey preparing for the synod, and we too are journeying along with Jesus. Let us pray that we might find our way, that we might understand what we are called for, each one of us as a missionary disciple. It does not matter what you are doing at present, how old or how young, or what your job is. The important thing is to realize that you and I are called to be missionary disciples. So we'll surrender our life with deep faith, asking for a new vision, for new sight like blind Bartimaeus, that each one of us might follow Jesus along the way.